It's our final moment of the day. We're going to present our closing remarks now. Really happy to introduce you to Audrey Hinesbrook, who's Chief Sustainability Officer from our headline partners, NN Investment Partners. Audrey, I'm going to hand it over to you for your closing thoughts on this year's forum. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Mark, and good afternoon to you all. It's indeed a long day. Interesting topics have been discussed, and I just want to bring some remarks to everybody around here. So the forum has brought together many views, many interactions, many people sharing their views and insights on how to combat climate change, but also about regulation. It was also about all the other things on the transition. It was about banks, organizations, different people talking also about the female perspective, about other perspectives. So bringing in that in a concise way on a day-to-day basis for the last 4 days. And I want to bring to you that this diverse group of speakers is actually what it makes valuable. But the most value is in attendance, in the participants, because it's the activities of the participants listening in, tuning in, that makes the value of this conference. And for that, I want to say thank you for everyone who tuned in. And also want to say a big thank you for Climate Action organizing this conference. And you, Mark, for making us and bringing us from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to day 4, and even from morning to afternoon programs. So thanks so much. And saying thank you also means that I have listened in to many of the contributions. And when I was thinking about how to close and bring some perspectives together, I stumbled upon a book in my bookshelves, which is there for a long time. And it's written by Jan Jonker, a professor in the Netherlands who just went on emeritaat, but he wrote about thinking and acting. And to me, that's exactly what this conference was all about. And the book also. The book is about bringing thoughts together, and it's about if we want to make things happen on more sustainability and we want to make things happen on combating climate change, it is about bringing the right questions to the table. And in my view, in the 4 days of the conference, many right questions and answers came to the table. And one of these questions were bring in long-term perspectives. Other questions to ask are also about bringing in context and making sure things are consistent. And even there's a question to bring in holistically views, because otherwise sustainability, responsible investing, ESG, regulation is not connecting to the dots. But most of all, I was intrigued, and allow me to quote this one because it's a very good sentence. The future is written by those who are currently working to shape it. The future is written by those who currently work to shape it. And that's what we do. That's what we do here in this conference. We're working, thinking to shape it. And that is also the title of the book. It's Thinking and Acting. So if you allow me, in these few minutes, I want to share with you some thoughts about connecting thinking to acting. Because if we want to combat climate change, if we want to make next steps on what we've discussed, we have to think and connect on some shifts. Allow me to share with you on these shifts. First of all, one of the shifts I would like to mention is if we want to put capital to work, we need to consider not only companies and projects, but we definitely need to bring in the perspective from sovereigns. Looking at the COP26 later in Glasgow, the topic is all about role of governments. So yes, we as asset owners, asset managers, banks, financial institutions, and associated stakeholders have to bring in all these perspectives. So bringing capital to work means also thinking about allocation of capital and the role of the players in the field. The other one is also mentioned during this conference, real-world outcomes. We need to make a shift from not only looking at portfolios, but also to the real-world outcomes. Because we can make, as been discussed in one of the panels, a shift in decarbonization in the portfolios. But in the end, we live in a world where we have to look beyond portfolios, but to the real-world impact. So can we finance these real transitions? And can we make sure that maybe we are currently invested in some emitters and so, but can we make it happen to the next step? Shift in perspective, shifts in capital allocation. The third shift I would like to talk to you about is, it's been said before, post-pandemic. Sometimes it was talked about, let's do the post-pandemic action. Allow me to bring to you, let's start today. Let's not wait until the pandemic is fully over and we fully recovery phase. Maybe the pandemic is unfortunately a bit longer to stay. But let us focus on today. Let us amend to action now and not waste any time. That's the third one I would like to mention to you. And I have actually a fourth one. It is what it's always about is combating climate change. But climate is a bit of a broad word, a broad sense. Like we say in the Netherlands, containerbegrip. It is a word that means a lot. But let us use climate also from the perspective of biodiversity. Because climate is more than just carbon. Climate is also about the ecosystem around us. So let us work and think and act on portfolios, asset owners, set targets, set milestones, engage, discuss, bring this into perspective. Finance beyond the next steps. And the other small thing about climate is bring in the social dimension. We all know about the concept of just transition, but let us not forget, if we as asset managers, asset owners want to bring and combat climate change to the next steps and really make the difference, we have to get the hearts and minds of the stakeholders involved. We have to think about jobs, skills, needed education, needed acceptance of the changes we need to do. We as asset owners, asset managers, need to think in climate beyond pure carbon emissions, beyond only biodiversity. Also take the necessary steps in society, because combined, it will bring us to the next steps. And that brings me actually to my closing words in my closing keynote. The shifts, let us remember, the shifts that if we want to write the future, we need to work today. So working today was still the last days, listening to contributions. So what are we going to do tomorrow? Let us start as of tomorrow to start work and write the future. Because if we want to write the future in bright letters, we have to get to work, we have to collaborate, and we have to learn from the insights we heard on those 4 days. So yes, let's start, let's get busy, because that is needed now more than ever. Back to you, Mark.
Audrey, thank you very much indeed. Inspiring, rousing end to the end of this 4-day Sustainable Investment Forum. Thank you so much for those words, for those inspiring words, for sharing your thoughts, your remarks about this 4-day event. And thank you to NN Investment Partners for their support as our headline partner for 2 consecutive years now. So thank you to you, Audrey, and thank you to NN Investment Partners. A wonderful way to wrap up this 4-day forum. And that's it. That brings us to conclude the Sustainable Investment Forum Europe 2021 edition. Wow, what a 4 days it's been. Sustainable finance has very much arrived. We need forums like this. We need forums like this to better engage with regulators, better engage with policymakers. We need standards that everyone's going to follow. We need a coherent approach. We need to maintain the integrity of the financial system's commitment to the Paris Agreement. All this has been said by our panelists over the last 4 days or so. What does sustainability mean? What does ESG mean? S is no longer a poor relative in ESG. Climate is very much aligned to the S, to the G as well. I loved our panel, Women in Sustainable Finance. I'll say this stat once, I've said it 5 times. More funds are run by the name of David than by female managers in the UK. That's crazy. That's absolutely unbelievable. So many words of wisdom. Ambitious net zero targets are important, but what actually matters, it's what people do. Sustainable finance will fail if it continues to relegate high emitting industries to the sidelines as well. New technologies for old problems. Really enjoyed that conversation today. How much money is expected to reach is exposed to each SDG at industry level. I tell you what, it's moved to $3.1 trillion from 2.2. That's 40% more money being made in a way that's only 3% less bad. This is what data can do. It can drill down beneath the bonnet as well. What's the future of sustainability? Wonderful end to our Banking on Sustainability panel. 3 words, 3 panelists said: culture, bold, collective mind; digital, green, socially responsible; ESG makes business sense. So many words of wisdom, so much to share with you. I've just written notes after notes after notes. How do we tap private capital to address climate concerns? Green bonds. That was what was said in our last panel of the day before those wonderful closing remarks from NN Investment Partners. I want to just share with you the mission of the Sustainable Investment Forum. We ask many questions. Can our investments create the future we want, create the future we need? That's the question that we like to ask at Climate Change. We hold the power, we hold the responsibility, we hold the choice to invest in a better future, to green the recovery and align with the SDGs. Those are the statements, the thoughts that we're constantly asking ourselves. Can global initiatives enhance responsible investing and mainstream ESG once and for all? How do we mobilize capital for mitigation and adaptation? Can investing in nature work for people, planet and profit as well? So many questions. What's our responsibility in meeting the SDGs? How will digital technology change responsible investing? These are just some of the questions. These are what we deem to be our mission at Climate Action. And of course, we're going to continue to follow this conversation, to continue this conversation. Do stay tuned, stay up to date, stay subscribed to climateaction.org. Want to say a massive, massive thank you to all our partners, to all our speakers, to you, the audience, for making this forum such a success. But most importantly, coming aboard to demonstrate your commitments to responsible investment and, of course, to an inclusive green recovery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Want to also say a special thank you to the crew behind the scenes. There are many of you. Thank you all to Alex, to his team from Whitestone Media, who are the live streaming provider, and the Juna Live team as well, Theo, Jake and Josh, who are the video production crew behind the scenes as well. Thank you to you all. Juna Live, thank you for not only supporting Climate Action's mission to deliver high-impact forums, but also for providing your services to support the Global Choices mission. And of course, thank you to the Climate Action team for organizing this forum. Before we go, I want to invite you to continue to join Climate Action, maintaining the momentum on Climate Action through 2021, through beyond as well. I want to invite you to our next big event, or one of the ones we've got coming up for you, the Sustainable Investment Forum North America, the brother of the Sustainable Investment Forum Europe, which of course has taken place over the last 4 days in official partnership with UNEP FI. The Sustainable Investment Conversation will continue with the Biden administration prioritizing climate. The forum in North America will be a must-attend event. Do so. Taking place during Climate Week NYC. It's in September. It's online. It's a 4-part digital series again. Please, please register today at na.sinvforum.org. The URL is on the screen right there. Also, the Sustainable Investment Forum Europe will return in 2022. We look forward to that. That'll be in April again next year. You can engage ahead of time. Do connect with Climate Action to find out more at info@climateaction.org. And as we discussed, this needs to be an inclusive green recovery. Climate Action invites you. We dearly want you and clearly want you to join the transition month during, of course, the month of May. The summits will bring together key stakeholders driving sustainable and net zero transition, from policy and regulation to innovation, technology and investment. This is the ideal platform for investors, project developers, policymakers, and innovators to share insights and expertise on key transition trends and opportunities. You can always register at climateaction.org at the events page. Wow, what a 4 days it's been. I want to leave you with this message. As a community of investors, as stewards of the future, we have the power to decide the future we want. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me. It's been a wonderful 4 days. We'll see you soon. Take care. Be good. Be safe. See you next time.